So earlier in the season, we talked about you facing Wemby, and the last time you guys played the Spurs was in November, but we were discussing just how different it was because the NBA hasn't seen someone with his height and his athleticism. But as the season progressed and you continued to watch Wemby, what are your kind of final season thoughts on him as a player? And also a good question for you is, what would you describe or what kind of pieces do you think would be the perfect fit for a team around Wemby?
Yeah. Initial thoughts, the way he finished the year, I think is scary for the league. Because I think the way he finished the year was the momentum he needed going into this summer to be a totally different player coming into next season. You just look at the game against Denver, the matchup against Philly. He had some really good games to close this year out where it was like, damn, like you can't, this is what Wemby is. Like he's a problem. And the problem is just he don't have the personnel. Not that the guys around him aren't good enough. It's just the personnel is not ready for all that he brings and his talents. If you had like a peer point, say you had like a CP or a Rondo, like those guys that just know basketball and know that this motherfucker is 7'5", like Wemby, go right there. I'm going to throw this shit as high as I can. Go catch and dunk it. Like somebody to sit down and just explain the game to him like this. Like, you know, if they front you, just spin. That ball going to be there. Like he don't have that type of personnel around him
to do that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's really all it takes for him to unlock.
Point guard this year?
Trey Jones was the point guard there, and he's young. Like he doesn't have that experience of being able to tell Wemby, like, listen, you go right here, that ball's gonna be right there. Because it was plays in the game, and they, you know, obviously Instagram shows it all. Plays where he's wide open, but they look him off, or he's like begging for it, and they don't see him. They don't have that player that knows how to find him and get him the ball in his spots where he can just be special.
I was impressed by his maturity, like to what you
he
just
handled
said.
a lot. Yeah,
like with maybe not having the most developed NBA teammates and the amount of media and spotlight. Like there were probably some times where he was frustrated, but I think he did a great job of just being a leader, going and talking to him. Like he wasn't a poor sport when he didn't get the ball. He next play kept going. That's what I liked most about watching him.
He did. He was great in that aspect. And I think another piece he needs is like, because he's not like a 5. He's too thin, and I think you don't want him to be banging and battling against, you know, traditional 5s all season long. I think he needs like a kind of like a dynamic 4 or 5 player around him as well, so that he's not like glued and tied to playing a 5 spot, but he can in spurts of the game. But he needs someone that can space the floor and give him room.
Yeah.
So they don't just crowd up on him and you know, take away his spacing. So I do think he needs someone like a dynamic 4-5.
Yeah. Question for you, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the San Antonio Spurs, I would say, are mostly known to kind of farm players and bring them through the program of the Spurs and develop players. I can't remember the last time the Spurs, I'm sure they've made some trades, but where they did some blockbuster trade and brought, you know, some big superstar over. Do you think that because they have Wemby now that there'll be some, like, how do you think they'll handle that? Do you think they're going to keep doing the traditional, hey, we're going to let these players grow? Or do you think they're going to go get in some pieces?
I think not this season coming. They take that approach, but I think the following season they do for sure.
That'll be fun to see.
You got to put him with some people.
Yeah, but they just don't do that, right?
They don't. They rely on building their talent up. They do a great job drafting, finding talent. You think about Ginobili being a star in the second round. You think about, well, obviously, Tim Duncan. You knew he was going to be special, but they just do a great job of finding pieces and plugging it into their system. And you know, honestly, you know, guys perform better when it is a system that they're playing in. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, like 10 out of 10 times, I have to back cut. And in 5 out of 10 times you back cut, that ball is right there. Like, you're going to back cut and you're going to be pretty good because you don't have to do much. You don't have to think about playing. You just know, if I do this, 5 times out of 10, I might get that ball, and it's an easy layup. So guys play better in systems. So I think they do a great job of that. I don't think that they'll go out and just try to kill their team just yet with trades, because you don't want to overshadow Wemby's development. You want him to kind of go through these growing pains and develop and learn how to be the star. And then you start, all right, I think this player goes well with him. Like, he's ready. Like, I think now we go get this player. And so I think what they do is they build up their young stars. If they don't work there, at least they have a ton of footage. They have a chance to improve their stock. You trade them off for that piece that you really need around them.
That'll be crazy.
But he's like, San Antonio's going to be back soon. I think, like I said, the way he finished last year, and then I seen he's working with Jamal Crawford right now.
Is he?
Yeah, he was doing Jamal Crawford. He won't teach him. Jamal said he won't teach him.
That's just good. Like,
Jamal said he won't teach him another move until he get the one that he teaching him now.
Yeah, I saw on Instagram he's with Jamal Crawford, working with Jamal Crawford. So
that's crazy.
He's working with the vets. You dig?
That'll be scary to watch him. And then
I mean, he's got the greatest vet in his corner already, Tim Duncan.
Speaking of vet, you a vet now, damn near, right? Too, huh, Pete?
I've been a vet.
Yeah, you've been a vet for a while. Shit, all these young motherfuckers on your team.
Sheesh.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of PrizePicks community today.
With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a PrizePick lineup in as little as, 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and you're locked in.
There's always action on PrizePicks, and this is the perfect time to try out something new as basketball is winding down. Make sure to try out esports this month, because for every Wednesday and Saturday in June, if your lineup doesn't win, you'll get the entry fee back. Choose from Counter-Strike 2, Call of Duty, League of Legends, and more.
Download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. I repeat, download the app today and use code PODCASTP for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. Come on, y'all. It's that easy.